Good evening, everyone. You're listening to Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this is your Red Pill News. Well, guys, we've got lots of news to get through today. Last night, Massive Attack, British band, put on quite the show at Radio City Music Hall in New York City. You're not going to want to miss what they showed on stage. Also, it looks like the State Department is stepping up their investigation into HRC's email scandal. 130 employees in the government are being or have been questioned in regards to sending and receiving emails from Hillary Clinton's private bathroom email server. Also, it looks like the FBI is stepping up their investigation of the victims of Jeffrey, the dead billionaire financier with the private island in the Bahamas. And we've got so much more, including Adam Schiff, President Trump speaking about treason, and even more in regards to the whistleblower. So we're going to get into this and more, and we'll be right back after a brief word from my sponsor. Right now, the world is changing. That fact is written all over our headlines. And when it does, it only takes one major disaster to remind us of how fragile life is. When emergencies strike, are you prepared for days without electricity and stores being closed for weeks? If not, today's the day to act. It's National Preparedness Month. Make a plan. I've built an emergency food storage supply, and I prepare with My Patriot Supply. They lead the preparedness industry and sell the emergency food, gear, and water filtration products that you will need at some point. And if you act now, you can save $100 on a 4-week emergency food kit when you go to my special website, preparewithredpill78.com. These tasty 4-week food kits last up to 25 years in storage and average over 2,000 calories per day. Order now and get free shipping from My Patriot Supply discreetly to your door. Don't ignore the writing on the wall. Prepare for what's coming and save $100. Go to preparewithredpill78.com. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around. First of all, we have an incredible video here. It's actually a GIF showing the light show that Massive Attack put on last night at Radio City Music Hall. Apparently, Banksy, the street artist, is the one who did the graphics. As you can see, they have a very particular letter from the alphabet, the 17th letter, and they are asking the question, who killed Jeffrey? This is unmistakable. And I bet that there is a ton of people who are at this show who are wondering exactly who did kill him and why is the 17th letter of the alphabet flashing on the screen along with it. So hopefully this opened a lot of eyes last night, and many, many more people are red-pilled as to exactly what is going on across the world. Global movement now indeed. All right, and next from the American Thinker. Very big development in terms of Hillary's emails. At least 130 State Department officials have been notified of possible culpability in security incidents related to Hillary's private email server. The wheels of federal bureaucratic responsibility, like the wheels of justice, grind very slowly. So only now are we learning that the scandal of Hillary Clinton's private email server used for official business is still being scrutinized. And while the big fish, Hillary Clinton, is out there shooting off her mouth accusing President Trump of the corrupt practices she undertook, the smaller fish in the State Department are learning of their own culpability in corresponding with her on a private server. Just the kind of leverage a determined prosecutor could use to obtain plea deals implicating higher-ups. Ask General Flynn or Paul Manafort what that sort of pressure could mean. Now, the Washington Post originally reported as many as 130 officials have been contacted in recent weeks by State Department investigators, a list that includes senior officials who reported directly to Clinton, as well as others in lower-level jobs whose emails were at some point relayed to her inbox, said current and former State Department officials. Those targeted were notified that emails they sent years ago have been retroactively classified and now constitute potential security violations, according to letters reviewed by the Washington Post. State Department investigators began contacting the former officials about 18 months ago, after President Trump's election, and then seemed to drop off the effort before picking it up in August, officials said. Senior State Department officials said that they are following standard protocol in an investigation that began during the latter days of the Obama administration and is nearing completion. This has nothing to do with who is in the White House, said a senior State Department official who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak publicly about the ongoing probe. This is about the time it took to go through millions of emails, which is about 3.5 years. years. To many of those under scrutiny, including some of the Democratic Party's top foreign policy experts, the recent flurry of activity surrounding the Clinton email case represents a new front on which the Trump administration could be accused of employing the powers of the executive branch against perceived political adversaries. The WAMPO and other Democrats are anxious to discredit the probe by blaming Trump for pushing it, but the officials in question deny any pressure and claim that the probe began before he took office. State Department officials vigorously denied that there were any political motivation behind their actions and said that their reviews of retroactively classified emails were conducted by career bureaucrats who did not know the names of the subjects being investigated. The process is set up in a manner to completely avoid any appearance of political bias, said a second senior State Department official who was speaking on condition of anonymity to describe the mechanics of an internal probe. My own suspicion is that we are headed for an orgy of scandals between now and Election Day next year. The rush of House Democrats toward impeachment reflects their own understanding and fear of what is going to be made public. In the meantime, about 130 State Department officials, including some of the Democratic Party's top foreign policy experts, are going to need the services of some very expensive D.C. lawyers, the kind of help that can force a person to sell his house, or else tell all to prosecutors and make a deal. What have I told everyone on this channel so many times before? The wheels of justice turn slowly, and the wheels of the federal government turn even slower. This is how it is meant to work, you guys. This is how it's supposed to go in every single investigation. What we have seen in years past has been an aberration. The Trump administration is going about this in exactly the right way. Based upon the way that this investigation is being handled, there's absolutely no way that his political opponents are going to be able to successfully claim political bias, saying that he's going after his political opponents. These are State Department bureaucrats, people who have apparently no party affiliation, but are simply going by the book, by the rule of law. You guys, this has taken so long because there has been so much information to pour through. I have said it time and time again. They're doing it right, and they are going after the people who have actually broken the law. It's just that now we're only finally hearing about it because these people are worried and they are talking about it. No wonder there is a rush for impeachment in the Congress. Oh, I love it. I'm so excited. This is great news. Absolutely great news. And I've got more coming up. Well, with regard to the FBI heating up their investigation into the victims of that dead billionaire financier, Method says the ghost of Epstein is currently haunting Prince Andrew. Let's go ahead and take a look at this clip.
Yeah, this story is not going away for Prince Andrew, that is for sure, Ali. And the news, which has come from the United States, will no doubt be being felt here at Buckingham Palace because the FBI is now seeking to interview a further 100 alleged human trafficking victims of Jeffrey Epstein. And it's thought that some of those people might be able to perhaps shed some light, maybe provide some fresh evidence as to what, if any, role Epstein's good friend, Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, may have played in this scandal in which he's been embroiled since the story broke. Now, a lot of these women we're talking about were aged just 14 or 15 when these alleged trafficking took place. So very, very serious investigation, and UK police are now set to play a key role, with Scotland Yard reportedly ready to assist the FBI over the coming months. Also today, claims that Prince Andrew regularly visited an apartment in Paris which was owned by his friend Jeffrey Epstein. Those claims have come from the caretaker of the property. He's spoken to French police and is now a key witness. So not a good day for the Duke of York. He does continue, Ali, to deny all allegations.
Okay. Not a good day for the Duke of York. That's right. Things are heating up, and Prince Andrew, now being the only person left alive that was this good of a friend with Jeffrey, is not going to have a very good year. This is wonderful news for victims as well as people who are hoping to see justice metered out in this particular instance. I have to believe that this is just the beginning of what we're seeing in terms of an actual investigation of the co-conspirators, the people who were involved in this nefarious activity that was run by good old Jeffrey. Hopefully, we're going to see a lot more people get investigated and a lot more people be questioned by the FBI. And I would imagine that anyone that Prince Andrew happens to be aware of as a co-conspirator probably ought to be counting the days until they end up themselves in an investigation room under the firm and watchful eye of the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And in other news about things heating up, President Trump has said on Twitter he wants Representative Adam Schiff questioned at the highest level for fraud and treason. These are strong words coming from our president, not the first time he's used the T word. President Donald Trump took to Twitter on Sunday night to announce that he wants Representative Adam Schiff questioned at the highest level for fraud and treason. Representative Schiff recently lied in his opening remarks and claimed numerous falsehoods about President Trump's call with the Ukrainian president, in spite of the transcript being provided to him the day before. Here we have President Trump's tweet, "Like every American, I deserve to meet my accuser, especially when this accuser, the so-called whistleblower, represented a perfect conversation with the foreign leader in a totally inaccurate and fraudulent way." Then Schiff made up what I actually said by lying to Congress, Trump tweeted. His lies were made in perhaps the most blatant and sinister manner ever seen in the Great Chamber. He wrote down and read terrible things, then said it was from the mouth of the President of the United States. I want Schiff questioned at the highest level for fraud and treason. President Trump added that, in addition, I want to meet not only my accuser, who presented second and third-hand information, but also the person who illegally gave this information, which was largely incorrect, to the whistleblower. Was this person spying on the U.S. president? Big consequences. As the Gateway Pundit reported earlier in the day, Representative Schiff is connected to a Ukrainian arms dealer. In 2013, Ukrainian Igor Pasternak held two different fundraisers for Schiff, asking for contributions between $1,000 and $2,500. Pasternak has also been linked to none other than George Soros. That's right. It looks like the Democrats, Adam Schiff, Nancy Pelosi, they've been working on this whole Ukraine whistleblower witch hunt, another witch hunt, for quite some time. And it's quite obvious that Adam Schiff did lie to Congress. He read a complete and total fabrication. He presented it as the words of the president, and then when questioned about lying about it later on in the hearing, he said that it was meant to be parody, and that's something that's wrong with Congress, is that Congress doesn't understand parody. Well, I'll tell you what, this was not Saturday Night Live. This was no time for parody. This is the beginnings of an impeachment hearing, and Adam Schiff's remarks on the record will probably be brought up, I would imagine, in those impeachment proceedings, which are soon to be taking place. The only thing is that it was an absolute fiction. President Trump never said any of those things. President Trump never offered a quid pro quo in exchange for an investigation into Joe and Hunter Biden. He simply asked the president of the Ukraine to look into corruption on behalf of Joe Biden and his son Hunter. These are clear crimes in which these individuals sold out their country and the people of that country. Absolutely disgusting behavior, but to be honest with you, nothing new and nothing that does not surprise me coming from the Democrats. Well, this looks like it is certainly heating up, and I cannot wait to see where this goes next. President Trump, I implore you, keep on tweeting. Well, in regards to Adam Schiff lying to Congress, he was confronted yesterday by a citizen about that incident at a South Carolina airport. Now, an unidentified concerned citizen filmed himself confronting House Intelligence Committee Chairman Representative Adam Schiff at a South Carolina airport Sunday evening about Schiff lying to Congress during a hearing this past week by making up quotes by President Trump. Schiff made up Trump's words at a hearing on September 26 with DNI Joseph McGuire about a whistleblower complaint about Trump's July 25th call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky that has prompted an impeachment investigation by the House, authorized by Speaker Nancy Pelosi, but not by a vote of the chamber. The man who confronted Schiff was firm but polite. On the video, he did not scream, yell, swear, or threaten Schiff. He waited for Schiff to step out of an airport shop before approaching him and walking with Schiff to speak with him for a brief while without impeding him. He was very polite. Schiff, in turn, was also polite but declined to comment, saying he was there for a wedding. The videotaped confrontation lasted about 20 seconds without Schiff walking away saying, "Have a nice day." However, the man claims a Schiff aide called him what is now considered a gay-baiting slur off camera. So flying out of Greenville, Spartanburg last night, who is at my gate? Well, Representative Adam Schiff, the biggest liar in D.C., can't even answer simple questions about his lies last week on camera. What a beta. Can't defend himself when confronted, and his aide called me I will let you guys read that yourselves, but it starts with a C and ends with an R, off cam. Wow, how polite. Let's go ahead and take a look at the video. This is from Real Dad in Stands. Great guy, great job.
Hey, so why did you lie to Congress and the committee the other day on TV? Why did you make it up?
Here for a wedding, how about...
It doesn't matter. When I'm at home to watch...
I'm really not interested in talking to you. Right?
Why don't you just tell the truth when you're on TV? About Trump, huh? You gotta lie about it?
Obviously, he has to lie about it because the Democrats have nothing on Trump. This man has committed no crimes, he's done nothing impeachable, and they are still hurt because they lost in 2016. And they know that they're going to lose again in 2020. So their only hope, as Al Green said, was to get him out of office so that they don't have to worry about running against him in 2020. Absolutely despicable behavior on behalf of Adam Schiff. Now, while in Greenville, Schiff spoke with WYFF-TV, telling them he was in town for personal reasons. In the interview, Schiff addressed criticism by South Carolina's senior Senator Lindsey Graham. He says, "This whistleblower, whoever he or she may be, is a real patriot," Schiff said Sunday. "They have the courage to come forward and the courage to be willing to continue to cooperate." "I don't understand Senator Graham," Schiff said. "I don't understand his criticisms of the whistleblower. I don't understand where he's coming from. In fact, this whistleblower's allegations that the president had such a conversation have now been proven accurate. Lies." In the House, we have passed legislation to protect people's health care, to raise people's wages, to protect people from the scourge of gun violence, to provide an equal pay for equal work. We passed about 100 to 200 major bills, and we've sent them to the Senate, and Senator Mitch McConnell is sitting on them, Schiff said. The problem in terms of moving forward with the country's policy agenda is that Mitch McConnell is killing it. That's a total lie. Our team asked Schiff if he believes Trump would be impeached. He declined to comment directly on that. There's a certain gravity that comes with the process we're in, and I don't want to prejudge it. Now, video of Schiff making up quotes of President Trump that prompted the man to confront him on Sunday evening are seen right here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the clips.
Shorn of its rambling character and in not so many words, this is the essence of what the president communicates. We've been very good to your country, very good. No other country has done as much as we have. But you know what? I don't see much reciprocity here. I hear what you want. I have a favor I want from you, though. And I'm going to say this only 7 times, so you better listen good. I want you to make up dirt on my political opponent, understand lots of it. On this and on that, I'm going to put you in touch with people, not just any people. I'm going to put you in touch with Attorney General of the United States, my Attorney General, Bill Barr. He's got the whole weight of the American law enforcement behind him. And I'm going to put you in touch with Rudy. You're going to love him, trust me. You know what I'm asking, and so I'm only going to say this a few more times, in a few more ways. And by the way, don't call me again. I'll call you when you've done what I asked. This is, in sum and character, what the president was trying to communicate
Devin.
With the president of Ukraine. It would be funny if it wasn't such a graphic portrayal of the president's oath of office. But as it does represent a real betrayal, there's nothing the president says here that is in America's interest, after all. It is instead the most consequential form of tragedy, for it forces us to confront the remedy the founders...
All right, I'll tell you what the real tragedy is that Adam Schiff is here reading a fictitious statement, trying to say that it's a quote from the president, when clearly it is not anything like what the president said. What the president was doing was fighting corruption, was fighting the selling out of America and our homeland. That is the business of the Democrats. How much money can they make and how quickly can they do it in selling out America and the people who live here? They don't care about the American populace. They don't care about the citizens of this great country. All they care about is lining their pockets and getting out of office while they still have their freedom. Now, it's not just Rudy Giuliani and the president out there speaking out on what's been taking place, but former government directors, attorneys, and agents are also livid with this deep state clown whistleblower. Direct quote here, he should be fired and brought up for treason. Former U.S. government deputies, attorneys, and agents are very upset with the deep state whistleblower that attacked President Trump with bogus second-hand charges. Some are even calling for his arrest and immediate indictment for treason. Dr. Steve Pieczenik, a former clown deputy assistant secretary of state under 5 different administrations, shared the following in an urgent message to President Trump, calling the events nothing more than a disguised coup by the clowns in America. Dr. Pieczenik also claims there is no such thing as a whistleblower in the clowns in America. Then he said this, there is no such thing as a good Samaritan or whistleblower at the clowns. He should be fired and brought up for treason, as well as any of the analysts, people involved in this treason.
This information. Look, it comes down to very simple things, Joe. I mean, we know that that Joe Biden said he demanded the firing. He's bragging on camera about it. We know that it was $1 billion of our money he was threatening to withhold, and we also know that he was warned that his son Hunter was being investigated, and then his son has no history with Ukraine energy or anything in big contracts. But it even gets bigger when we go to China, and he flew on Air Force Two, and that became a $1.5 billion deal in private equity. So with the Chinese-related bank, government-related bank, yet Trump did nothing here. How did we get to a non-whistleblower being the conspiracy in this?
Well, you know, here's the deal, Sean. Joe Biden shook down the Ukrainian government. It's very simple. It's not complicated. And they lied about Viktor Shokin being corrupt. And Joe Biden's son's lawyers for Burisma then come in after Mr. Shokin is fired and apologize from records obtained from that law firm to Mr. Shokin and his representatives for having lied about him. This was a setup. And what we're now seeing is the Democratic Party trying to cover that up, and therefore you have the whistleblower in the White House come forward who actually knows nothing and has created a document with the help of lawyers from other people. This whistleblower needs to go to prison. He doesn't need to be feted. He needs to go to prison.
Sean,
Victoria.
I want to jump in here, too, and just on this false statements. How did that work? U.S. and other people made false statements about him? Yeah, that was George Soros-funded NGOs who were also in bed with the State Department. They were in bed with each other during that time in the name of anti-corruption, and it really means that Soros goes after his competitors. Now, let me bring this full circle. This is my last point here. The whistleblower sprinkles throughout his document footnotes referring to a publication with the initials OCCRP. One guess, Sean, who funds OOCRP? George Soros.
Wow. All right, Joe.
Soros's dirty money is all over this story from day one.
And all over Ukraine, and he still has embedded people at the State Department.
We have a lot.
Well, would you look at that? George Soros also has his dirty old mitts in this scandal as well. We know that George Soros had quite a bit to do with the overthrow of the last government in Ukraine with all that unrest back in 2013. So now it makes a lot of sense. George Soros doesn't want Donald Trump to be in power any more than the Democrats do. So they're all working together, and he's using his basically unlimited funding to go ahead and make it happen. Well, looks like the truth is finally coming out. Now, former Clowns in America, Department of State and ICIG officer Pedro Israel Orta, with extensive knowledge and experience on intelligence community whistleblowing standards, policies, and procedures, weighed in on the issue through a series of tweets claiming the incident used secondhand rumors on information under executive privilege. Orta then claims in a series of tweets that the Clowns in America and the ICIG, that's the Intel Community's Inspector General, dropped the ball on a number of cases but somehow let this one that is not legal go through. Then Orta notes that the GAO is investigating the ICIG for the cases Orta notes in his tweets. Form and language from ICIG is legit. came directly from ICIG. There is something very odd about a hearsay disclosure on information not under the DNI and ICIG legal authorities, and how it was all rolled out. It has indicators of conspiracy to damage Trump. The real crisis here is twofold. One, the ICIG through error has caused a significant crisis. And two, the Democrats have erroneously politicized IC whistleblower issues for political expediency. He goes on to say the ICIG and Clowns in America are under investigation by the GAO for taking reprisals on whistleblower reporting internal illegalities and failing to enforce protections. Former Clowns in America agent Sabrina D'Souza knows the deep state's actions as well. As we reported in July, former President Obama and his clown director John Brennan ignored D'Souza's pleas for help and left her to rot in a Portuguese prison. Lucky for her, Donald Trump was elected president. After the election, her situation was alleviated by the Trump administration, for which she is eternally grateful. D'Souza believes that before the 2016 election, the former president's Clowns in America was significantly emboldened with Brennan taking over all national security issues, where he had enormous latitude to do whatever he wanted, knowing that Barry and then Clinton would have his back. D'Souza, with Portuguese heritage, was eventually locked up in a Portuguese jail. In her efforts to exonerate herself from false charges in Italy, D'Souza claims she was helped by U.S. Representative Devin Nunes, who, she said, also has some Portuguese ancestry. Nunes tried 3 times to intercede on her behalf while she was in Portugal, but this was all denied by Barry. Barry gave the impression through his actions that he didn't care if U.S. intelligence employees were imprisoned for false crimes around the world or not. D'Souza says that former clown directors like Michael Hayden also refused to act on her behalf in the past. People like Brennan and Hayden were fine with having their employees rot in foreign jails rather than have their own crimes related to a case be brought out into the public spotlight. For the record, Michael Hayden smeared this website during an appearance on C-SPAN. We have demanded he retract his smears, which he has ignored. D'Souza shared that she believed she would get nowhere with a whistleblower complaint when the Clowns in America, when she felt that she had exhausted all internal procedures per regulations, she finally contacted the Clowns in America Inspector General twice. She was told that her case was not part of their charter or mission. D'Souza said that she tried with the ombudsman, who was really sympathetic, but was told to back off. So by law, she knew she could approach Congress, but walls came up again. Her attorney wrote several letters to members of the Senate Intel Committee, but she got no response. She finally hand-carried a letter appropriately classified with some evidence to Senator Feinstein's security office, requesting that she investigate, but it too was ignored. D'Souza claims she basically tried the whistleblower system with the clowns, but it did not work. She says the current Clowns in America whistleblower complaint is not related to intelligence, but policy, for which the president has wide latitude. The fact that the whistleblower brought up misuse of the classified server in the White House is noteworthy, she says. It's like the whistleblower was directed by others to include this bit in there because they know it would roil up the president and all those supporters who for the past 2 years have sought investigations into Hillary's homebrew server with the classified information on it. She says, I am one of those demanding a just system for handling classified info. After President Trump was in power, he supported her and prevented her from going to jail in Italy. The honest actors in the U.S. government are livid with the criminal actions of the Ukraine whistleblower. He should be fired and indicted for treason. Excellent, excellent summation of the points that we have here. Quite honestly, I find it quite ironic that the intelligence community would completely ignore these actual claims from a real whistleblower within the agency and then rush to judgment and try to push forward this fake whistleblower claim only because it is meant to damage and hurt our president. Here we have an actual agent, someone who is in need of assistance, someone who is ignored at every step of the way. She tried using the whistleblower system, she tried going to Congress, she tried doing absolutely everything within her power, and she was completely shut down at every stage. But like I started off with the program, good news is the wheels of justice are turning, and I have no fear for the president in this current issue. I think that it's quite obvious that he has done nothing wrong, and there will be nothing that comes of it, except maybe the indictments of people for treason involved with this fake whistleblower complaint. All right, author Peter Schweitzer was recently on Fox and Friends in the morning and said, we are releasing documents today related to Hunter Biden's $1.5 billion China scandal. Remember, It wasn't just the Ukraine, it was also China. Now, Peter Schweitzer from the Government Accountability Institute joined Fox and Friends on Monday morning to discuss the Biden family's massive pay-for-play scandal. Schweitzer is author of the book Secret Empires, detailing the vast corruption of Washington, D.C. elites. Schweitzer is an expert on the Biden family billion-dollar pay-for-play scandals with Ukraine and China, and Schweitzer told Fox and Friends hosts he is releasing new documents today on Joe Biden's pay-for-play scandal with China. He said, "I think what Joe Biden needs to do is come clean with this stuff. The old days of just obscuring are not going to work here. This is why we need an investigation." Schweitzer addresses the idea that this China link has been debunked, and he says it's not true. In fact, we're releasing the documents today. What you're seeing in the media with George Stephanopoulos and also with Washington Post is that they're taking the Biden line hook, line, and sinker. Number one, we're releasing documents. Hunter Biden was on the board of directors of this Chinese company that had $1.5 billion. We're releasing documents related to that $1.5 billion, and we're also releasing documents that explain what the American partners, that would be Hunter Biden and his business partners, remember, that was Chris Hines, that would be John Kerry's stepson, and also the son of Whitey Bulger, what their role was. And their role was the Chinese wanted to take advantage of their networks here in the United States. Now, what networks are they talking about? These gentlemen are not titans on Wall Street. I think we know what they're talking about, and the Chinese were very explicit as to why they struck up this partnership. This small investment firm that very few people had ever heard of. Well, this is a developing story, so we're going to have to just keep our eyes open on this, but it looks like this is going to be deeper and deeper before we are at the end of the day. One more thing, guys. And that is a tweet right here from Brad Parscale. He says, "I'm going to laugh this much when everyone figures out how much real Donald Trump played Speaker Pelosi." I think this tells us absolutely everything we need to know. President Trump knew exactly what he was doing, and he knew that they were going to be forced to look into this Ukraine thing if they tried to smear him and say that he needed to be impeached. So how do we get all this information out? Discovery. It comes out in terms of a court of law. They are going to be unable to ignore all of the information with regards to the corruption of Hunter Biden in both the Ukraine and China. All right, guys, I think that's all that I have for you today. I want to thank everyone for joining me. As always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pilled News. Good luck, everyone, and God bless. Hey guys, it's Red Pill. I just wanted to say once again, thank you very much for supporting my channel. If you want to, there are links in the description of this video below for several different ways that you can help out. Also, don't forget that when you support my sponsors, you are supporting the channel. Without them, I would not be able to keep doing the work that I'm doing. Also, if you are not already, please make sure that you are subscribed to the channel and that you click that notification bell to make sure that you get notifications every time that I do put a video out. And you can also follow me on Twitter at RedPill78. So thanks again, you guys, and I'll see you next time.